Hey everybody, and welcome to our channel, Nessa and Sophie. My name is Nessa and this here is my Cavapoo puppy named Sophie. And if you're watching today's video, it's probably because you're interested in adopting a Cavapoo and you're curious to see how much it costs to own this dog breed. Now, I've had Sophie for over a year, and over this past year, I've been meticulously documenting and recording all the spending I've been doing on Sophie because I really wanted to see how much it would cost to own a Cavapoo from the day I brought her home to a full year together. In today's video, we're going to be looking at four main areas of spending. So I've broken it down into four different categories. We've got food and treats, toys and accessories, grooming, and vet visits. All the amounts discussed in today's video are going to be in Canadian dollars. So for any of my non-Canadian viewers, you're going to have to do some conversion. I'm sorry about that. But I just want you guys to know that there may be some variation in pricing for you guys because of course it's going to depend on where you live and if you choose to shop around for better deals. I am going to reveal the total amount I have spent on Sophie in the past year at the very end of this video, so make sure you stick around. Let's get to it so you guys can get a better idea on how much it costs to own a Cavapoo puppy. The first area is spending, food and treats. If you have a puppy, you know that they're going to need a puppy-specific diet, and there are different brands out there, and depending on whether you go with bigger bags versus smaller bags, prices tend to be pretty similar across brands, other than a couple of dollar difference here or there. As your puppy transitions into adulthood, that's when there's some changes occurring. So depending on whether you want to stick with dry food, wet food, have a different type of diet, all that might change how much you're going to spend each month on your puppy or on your dog to feed them. With Sophie, I was buying a 6-pound bag of food every 6 weeks or so, and altogether I spent around $380 on dog food in the first year. Cavapoos are a smaller breed, which means they eat less, so automatically you'll spend less on food. Some people say that you spend the most amount of money on treats your first year of dog ownership. And although I did spend over $200 on treats for Sophie this first year, I don't think I'm going to be spending any less in the years to come. There's so much training to be done. I have so many things I want to teach Sophie. She's still working on a lot of different things. So I honestly think that I'll still keep spending quite a bit on treats. But it's needed if you want to be training your dog, and maybe some other people might be different, but this is my own experience with Sophie. How much you spend on treats will also depend on what brands you choose to buy and what type of treats you use as well. If you choose to go more wholesome and more natural, of course that's going to be more costly. But don't forget, if natural and wholesome is the way to go for you, just look around for deals because there are lots of deals to be found. You just got to shop around and then stock up. That's what I do with Sophie. And then I just have tons of treats downstairs, but you know, then at least I know that I have my supply down there, and I've also saved money, which is awesome. The second area of spending we're going to be looking at is toys and accessories. If you're anything like me, especially as a first-time dog owner, seeing all those cute and squeaky toys, I just had to get tons for Sophie. Sophie has gotten a lot of toys over the past year, and they've all lasted a really long time. Cavapoos don't tend to be aggressive chewers, which means that Sophie doesn't destroy her toys and they last a really long time. I also really like rotating her toys every couple of months, so I hide a couple of her toys for a little bit and then I bring them back out and then I switch them out with some other toys. I find this keeps things new and exciting for her, and she doesn't tend to get as bored with toys because they're always switching out, which I really like. And I find that other than the initial toys I first bought her when she came home, I don't really find that I'm spending too much on toys for her because I only get her a new toy every once in a while or for a special occasion. So altogether in the past year, I've only spent $120 on toys. I know that sounds like a lot, and she does have quite a few toys, but honestly, I know they're gonna last her a really long time, so I am totally okay with that. I've also gotten Sophie quite a few mental enrichment toys. I've talked about that a lot here on this channel. Toys like snuffle mats, Kong toys, puzzle toys, and these can be more costly depending on how many you choose to buy. I have spent around $100 on puzzle toys. They're really beneficial for Sophie, especially being a Cavapoo, because they are just so great for mental enrichment and stimulation. But of course, they're optional, but definitely recommended for any new puppy parents. In terms of accessories, you're going to have to buy all of your puppy essentials. Things like a collar, name tags, leashes, a harness, crate, bed, and combs and brushes. And what's really great about these items is that you won't have to replace these unless they get ruined or damaged. Then there's also going to be additional things you might have to buy depending on what you choose to do with your puppy. So for instance, with Sophie, I needed to buy a carrier and a dog seat belt. Depending on where you live, you'll also need to purchase sweaters or coats along with dog boots if you live in a colder climate like Sophie and I. Living somewhere where it can be negative 20 degrees Celsius for weeks on end, I'm also a little obsessed with seeing Sophie in sweaters. So I may have bought her more than just one, but of course you can choose to purchase only one jacket for your puppy. Altogether on accessories, I've spent $500, but I think that I'll be spending a lot less this year because I won't have to purchase really any of these items again. It's just really replenishing things like her poop bags. So if you're looking at accessories and worried about how much you're going to be spending, just know that you only really need to buy whatever's necessary for your puppy and whatever activities you choose to do with your puppy. You don't need to overspend, and you don't need as many sweaters as Sophie has, even though your puppy may look super adorable in them. The third area we're gonna be looking at is grooming, and this area might be the spot where you spend the most amount of money. And this is because Cavapoos who get their beautiful wavy and curly coats from their poodle parents, they require a lot of combing and a lot of visits to the groomers. Depending on where you live and where you choose to take your dog to the groomers, you're looking at spending anywhere between $60 to $100 each visit. Over the past year, I have done Sophie's grooming at home. I did a video all about that. You can check it out down in the description box. And having done it at home, it has saved me a lot of money because groomers can get quite costly. But obviously, if you're not able to do that, or you just choose to take your puppy to the groomer, just be aware that this will probably be one of the areas where you spend the most amount of money. I do have to take Sophie into the groomers about every 4 to 6 weeks for 2 reasons. So she does need to get her anal glands expressed. I haven't talked about that a lot here on this channel, but she is a puppy that needs that done. So that's about $20 each visit. And I have a nail grinder for her, but if I don't have time to grind down her nails, I'll also get her nails trimmed at the same time she goes in to get her glands expressed. In this section, I also want to talk about additional health supplies I've also purchased for Sophie. She does have baths at home, so we've got some shampoo, a toothbrush, and toothpaste, and then I also purchased her some paw balm to help soothe her dry palms, especially with all the salt outside in the winter. Altogether, these items have cost $60, but these items will last me for a long time. The shampoo has lasted me almost a whole year, and the paw balm is still like completely full. So I know that these items may be a little bit more expensive, but they do really last a long time. The fourth category we're going to look at before I reveal the total cost of owning a Cavapoo is vet visits. Your puppy's first year of life may be the most expensive when it comes to vet visits if you choose to have your puppy microchipped, and if you choose to have your dog spayed or neutered. Different vets are going to charge different rates for their services, and I would highly recommend calling around, checking out reviews, and doing some research, because you can find a vet that's really good with dogs, has great reviews, and doesn't charge you an insane amount of money for their services. Most puppies should already have a set or 2 of deworming when you go to pick them up from the breeders, but they may also require further treatments if there is still worms. Our vet provided us with a puppy vaccine schedule so we could see what vaccines Sophie was going to need and at what age she would require these vaccines done at. Sophie received her full set of puppy vaccines. We also added on a vaccine for Lyme and for leptospirosis. These are both things that she needs extra protection for because of the area we live in. She can be exposed to both of these, so we want to make sure she has that extra layer of protection. For the full set of vaccines, you're looking at spending anywhere between $250 to $300. Of course, these additional vaccines are going to cost you more. Things like Lyme, leptospirosis, and Bordetella are all additional vaccines that you can get for your puppy that will cost you more. Another thing your puppy will also require done at the vet is heartworm testing. This is something that's going to be done annually, and you're looking at spending anywhere between $60 to $80 to do a heartworm test kit. If you choose to microchip your puppy, you're also looking at an additional $50 to $100 as well. Sophie had her spay surgery done at 6 months, and that was an additional $500 for the complete surgery. One other thing you're also going to purchase that I personally also purchased from my vet is flea and tick solution. This is a topical treatment that I have to put on Sophie every month. I do purchase the 6-month supply from Revolution, and that's about $120 every 6 months. In a year, you're looking at spending $240 on flea and tick protection. For this video, I decided on going over all the items that I purchased for Sophie in this first year that are items that I know most people are going to need to buy for their puppy. I chose not to include some items that are very specific to activities that Sophie and I do together. So things like our bike riding equipment and a few other things. If you guys want to know more information about that, I can definitely do another video if you guys are interested. I just really want to give you guys a clear, concise breakdown of how much you can expect to spend your first year of puppy ownership and how costly it is to own a puppy, or specifically a Cavapoo puppy. Now, I finally want to reveal to you guys the total cost of owning a puppy, specifically owning this Cavapoo puppy. And altogether, I spent roughly $2,665. Is it worth it? 100% yes. Having Sophie in my life has been absolutely amazing. A lot of these items and a lot of the spending that I did here in my first year, and that you'll do as well in your first year, you're not going to repeat this spending again. So all these puppy essentials that I mentioned, those are going to last you a really long time. I really hope this video is both informative and helpful to any future puppy owners, especially those of you that are interested in adopting a Cavapoo. I hope this gives you a better idea on how much you can expect to spend on your puppy. If you have any questions about any of the items I mentioned in today's video, or just any questions in general, please send us a message, or even send us any video requests that you may have about owning a Cavapoo. We really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a like and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Thank you to all those who have subscribed so far and supported our channel. You guys are amazing. I'm gonna say bye now for me, and bye from a sleepy puppy. Say bye, Sophie. Can you say bye-bye? Bye, guys. Bye.